those. Yeah.
We're going live.
I did not feel bad, and I felt like I had company. So.
I mean, my mailbox has got another 6 inches or 8 inches, and then it's covered.
Yeah.
It's up to the bottom of mine. I'm lucky you can still get into it.
Yeah, another whatever inches, and it's going to be covered. Okay, here we go.
בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצער עולם. תוך אמוני ארצי כולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. שלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצער עולם. תוך בשלום הדרך עליו, גם בשמחה ובצער עולם. דוחל מולי יעשה כולם, בואי חלה, בואי חלה,
בואי חלה, בואי חלה,
בואי חלה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה.
When hours invested become miles enjoyed, whether your customer
אם אשכחך ירושלים, תשכח ימיני, תדבק לשויני ולכי כי אם לא אזכרכי. אם אשכחך ירושלים, תשכח ימיני, תדבק לשויני לכי כי אם לא אזכרכי.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our Shabbat service, our Friday evening. What a wonderful way to come together. It is cold outside, it is blustery, and it's snowing and all of the rest, but it is warm in our hearts as we welcome Shabbat into our lives once again. And to do that, we'll invite Rochelle Krawinski to light our Shabbat candles on page 2.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts, and may our worship tonight lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam, asher kirishanu b'mitzvotov v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed art thou, O Lord our God, ruler of the universe, who has commanded us to kindle these Sabbath lights.
We continue together on page 12 as we join in Kabbalat Shabbat, the section of our service where we try to leave behind the complications, the dramas of our lives, the schools, the workplaces, the stresses, and welcome that joy, that peace of Shabbat. So we join on page 12. Lechu neranena, come, let us sing joyously to God. And on page 20, we join together in the Chadodi, and although the image of going out into the bright fields of Israel seems difficult amongst the snow and the plows and the salt and all of that, we try to leave all that behind as we think of ourselves welcoming Shabbat into our hearts and into our lives.
Bye.
on page 22, we continue with Mizmor Shir LeYom HaShabbat, a psalm, a song for Shabbat.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
And on page 24, we welcome each other. Those words, Shalom Aleichem, and the response, Aleichem Shalom, those words of asking for blessings of peace and wholeness for all of us.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bohem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seivem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We turn together to page 26 and join in Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitkadash Shmei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'amad yivarach Yerutei ve'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'v'yamechon u'chayedecho Beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, u'vizman kariv. Yimaru, amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach, ve'alam olam me'amayah. Yitbarach, Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Yitba'ar, Yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitaleh, Shemei Kedusha, Barichu, Leila min kol berchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechemata, Tamiran be'alma, Yimaru, amen.
And on page 28,
Adonai hamvarach, Baruch Adonai hamvarach, le'olam va'ed.
we continue with Ma'ariv Aravim on page 30, thanking God for the blessings of creation and the mysteries of the planets and the stars and all of the wonders. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhmah poteach sha'arim, uvitfuna meshane itim u'machalif et hazmanim, ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה גולל אור מפני חושך וחושך לפני אור. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form?
Ahavat olam ben Yisrael Amcha Amcha Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Otanu limadeta Al-Kain Adonai Eloheinu b'shochenu U'kumeinu nasiach b'chukecha V'nizmach b'divrei Toratecha U'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu u'vehem negei yomam v'layla negei yomam v'layla ve'ahavatcha v'tasir mimeinu le'olamim Baruch Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
We turn together to page 34 as we join in Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shekevod Shekevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shekevod Shekevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
We join together on page 36, V'ahavta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, הייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Page 39. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory, may the earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt, we were delivered. At Sinai, we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש.
Page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will.
Baruch atah Adonai haborei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu le'ol kol amo Yisrael. Le'al Yerushalayim le'ol kol amo. Le'al Yerushalayim le'ol kol amo. Le'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah Adonai haborei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu le'ol kol amo Yisrael.
Page 45. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat ledorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat ledorotam berit olam. B'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, oti leolam, Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, La'asot et HaShabbat, Ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat ledorotam berit olam. Ubayom hashvi Shavat vayinafash, Shavat vayinafash, Shavat vayinafash, Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, La'asot et HaShabbat, Ledorotam berit olam.
Page 47. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agit tehilatecha. Adonai, open our lips, that our mouths may declare your praise.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevei Geula Livnei Bneihem, L'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham, Bezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atah v'hoshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechalkel chayim b'chesed, Mechayeh hakol b'rachamim rabim, Somech noflim v'rofeh cholim, U'matir asurim, U'mekayeh me'emunato, Mishenei afar. Nichamocha b'geburot, unido melach, melech memid u'mechayeh, u'matzmiach Yeshua. V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, kadoshim b'chol yom yahalu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
Days pass and the years vanish and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence like lightning illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see, wherever we gaze, that the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we didn't know it. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Page 55. Disturb us, O God, ruffle us from our complacency. Make us dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from a shunning of the horror, the defeat, the bitterness, and the poverty, physical and spiritual, of humans. Shock us, Adonai, Deny us the false Shabbat, which gives us the delusions of satisfaction amid a world of war and hatred. Wake us, O God. Shake us from the street and sad poignancies rendered by half-forgotten melodies and rubric prayers of yesteryears. Make us know that the border of the sanctuary is not the border of living, and the walls of your temples are not shelters from the winds of truth, justice, and reality. Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred to action. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land and Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence.
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu Be'amecha Yisrael U'tefilatam be'ava tikabel U'tehi l'ratzon Tamid avodat Yisrael Yisrael Amecha El Karam V'chol Korafini El Vatecha V'chaneinu Shefoch Ruchacha Aleinu V'techez Einayneinu Meshuecha L'Tzion Berachamim Baruch atah Adonai HaMachzir Shechinato L'Tzion.
Page 59. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us, so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai hatov shimcha v'lacha na'eh lehodot. Page 61. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as the safeguard of peace and its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness in our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul. And may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses our people with peace.
Shalom Ra Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Ra Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata melech Adon Lecho HaShalom. Ki ata melech Adon Lecho HaShalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amecha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam.
We take a few moments and look inward to those thoughts, those prayers, those ideas, those questions, those requests that we each may want to make to the one who creates all. Some moments of silent prayer.
Yehiyu Ratzon Imrefi Lehegyon Libi Lefanecha Adonai Tzuri Adonai Tzuri Legali
We turn together to page 253, and there we find our blessing for healing. And we think of all those who continue to struggle with COVID-19, their friends and family members, our caregivers, our doctors and nurses and hospital professionals, all those who work tirelessly to heal and keep us healthy. And in our congregation, we think of all those who need healing of any variety, a healing of the body, a healing of mind, of heart, of spirit. And we especially think of Greg Bennett and Michael Byron, Scott Gordon, Rebecca Gottlieb, Phyllis Levin, Jacob Adams, Pat Hanna, Doug Ford, Royce Strider, Steve Toddleman, Michael Goldman, Linda Lyons, Zachary Jackson, Bruce Harrell, Andrea Kempner-Blake, Frank Fusaro, Edna Fritz, Frank DeFazio, Katie Elia, Miriam Patterson, Darren Rosenberg, Bracha, Renee Goldman, Phil DiFrancesco, Matea Press, Sheila Cohn, Marilyn Weinecke, Diane Levy, Jeannie Neibauer, Darlene Sharp, Julie Matthews, Dane Marcinowski, Maggie Lee, Noyak Grinberg, and Stacy Mason. If there are names that you would like to add to our list, please add them into our chat box so that we can collectively send our energies of healing to all those who need, whether they are family, friends, people we know, and people that we don't know who are in the world and who are just in need of extra energies of healing. We join together.
May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Imotenu, Mekor habracha, Leotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, a renewal of body, a renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. You are probably aware of the story, and you may have heard it many, many times, of the man who is walking along a crowded beach. And the beach is crowded not with people, but with starfish. And the starfish have all washed up on the beach, and the man is gently reaching down and throwing one starfish into the sea, one at a time. And as he walks along the beach, picking one starfish up and throwing it back into the sea, there are hundreds and hundreds of starfish all around him. And another man sees him doing this and approaches him and says, "What are you doing? Why are you wasting your time? What difference could you make? There's hundreds of starfish." The man looks at him and smiles, bends down, picks up a starfish, throws it into the sea, and says, "It mattered to that one." This week, we are reading Parshat Truma. The word Truma means an offering or gift. And in fact, there are three different Trumot. There are three different offerings that are described. The first is the shkalim, or the shekel, which means the annual contribution, the actual half shekel, the lowest form of currency, actually, the half shekel that you give each and every year as a way of participating in the community. It's to pay for sacrifices, it's to pay for upkeep, all of those kinds of things. But there were two others. There was the payment for half a shekel that everybody contributed when the temple was being constructed, to lay the foundation. It's called the adanim, the kind of foundations or the pillars. And then there was the other provision, which was for all of the different accoutrements to the temple, the coverings and the materials and all the things that needed to be built in order to create the sanctuary. Scholars have puzzled over this for really since the beginning of time. Why would the Torah have a long conversation about an annual contribution to the temple, the synagogue, that only amounted to half of the lowest amount of currency one could possibly have? Well, I think it's a it's a example, and it stands as a way of thinking about inclusion and participation. That the half shekel is not a half shekel that is going to sustain, but rather the half shekel that is going to help us understand that we're part of this larger collective. Way for us to understand that each of us is part of this community and each of us has a part to play. It's remarkably effective. If you speak to fundraisers today, they will tell you the most important thing when you're doing community fundraising is to make sure that everybody in the community is included. And if you can get everybody in the community to participate, regardless of the level, you'll have a much, much more successful fundraising campaign than if you just had one or two key donors. Certainly, at Temple, we function the same way. There are so many different opportunities for people to contribute their half shekel, to get involved, you might say. There are committees and leadership opportunities, board positions. There are projects and task forces and all sorts of different things. And I know that COVID-19 has had a huge effect. I don't think we can overstate the effect that it's had, an incredible impact that it's had on all of our lives. And in fact, across the Jewish world, every institution, every synagogue, every school and Jewish community center and federation have all been affected, and we've all had to figure it out. And in many ways, we should be very proud of the way in which Anshe Chesed has come together and continued to be strong and enhanced our programs and services and done everything we can to make Temple available and to help people along the way. School. Our Gesher school will be returning this week to in-person classes, and we hope that by March, in just a few weeks, we'll be able to return to in-person services as well, and we hope that many of you will join us in person, and many of you will hopefully continue to join us via live stream, and we create this wonderful community in both these ways. But because this is this week, this Truma, I want you to think about different ways that you might be able to be involved. And certainly if you'd like help or ideas, let me know. I'm happy to sit down with you and talk about different ways of being involved, of making that half shekel. Now, later in the Parsha, there is this miraculous and wonderful quote, one of my favorite quotes. It says, Asuli mikdash, make me a sanctuary. V'shachanti b'tocham, make me a sanctuary so that I, God, will live among you. Now you can imagine that actually it should have read, make me a sanctuary so that I can dwell in the sanctuary, because the sanctuary is obviously or often considered God's house. But no, it's much deeper. It's make me a sanctuary so that I can be part of your life. Take that half shekel, take that commitment, take that level of participation, and let God into our lives. And so as we create this mikdash, and the word mikdash is sacred and holy, it can mean a physical space, but I think it goes well beyond that. Well beyond that, because in fact, in Jewish life, we really don't sanctify spaces, we sanctify time. And whether that time is sanctified as we do tonight, as we join together, and we are all over, we are in different cities, we are in different countries, we're certainly in different homes, and yet we're one community tied together with history and prayer and connections. So we find ways to build that mikdash and open ourselves up to having God live amongst us. I want to share with you a song from Central Synagogue. on this verse. Shabbat Shalom. We continue together on page 282 with Elena.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו גילויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגמר עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומשה יקרו בשמיים עמו, ושכינתו זו, בגובה מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו וזולתו, כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום בהשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, בארץ מתחת ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד.
Our thoughts turn now to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We observe the following yahrzeits on this Shabbat: of Isaac Cohen, Helen Naubauer, Rose Berenstain, Isaac B. Grabuski, Albert Schuster, Rosalind Levick, Louis Heller, Herma Schack, Sanford M. Joseph, Francis Falk Oppenheimer, Emma Auerheim Sobel, Jenny Stein Rudner, Rose Goldschmidt Mayer, Julius Horkheimer, Carolyn Birnbaum, Betty Gorman Levy, Janice Schuster, Barbara Steinhardt, Dina Levy, Mortimer Ostheimer, Kathings Schulhoff, Carl Luntz, Arthur Gartner, Francis Kimmel, and Max Hess. If you would like to add a name in memory of someone, please add it into our chat box. As together we turn to the words of Kaddish on page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Ba'alma divrach rutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'gala v'izman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'alam u'laneh almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran bi'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the one who grants peace in the high and distant heights grant peace. And together we say, Amen. I'd like to invite Rochelle back into our Zoom. Here we are for some congregational announcements.
Thank you, Rabbi, for your message this evening. And Jesse, as always, your beautiful songs. They make it, the whole service just enhanced so much. The services this weekend are in memory of Janice Schuster. As Rabbi said earlier, for the month of February, we remain primarily remote in terms of our services. We're very hopeful that in March we'll be returning in person, and we wait with eagerness to hear from our COVID experts, but we're hopeful. Tomorrow, Saturday, February 5th, Shabbat morning services start at 10 and Torah study at 11. Both are available via Zoom and YouTube. And then this Sunday, February 6th, we have Gesher, and I believe Gesher's in person, right? So we're excited. Gesher's been following the school kind of schedules and their pattern, if you will, or their in terms of being together. So we're delighted that our kids will be together and sharing and learning. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Look forward to you perhaps reaching out to us, to Rabbi, myself, Janice, anybody you can call. And we would love to have you work with us or contribute your time and exciting new developments and programs. So give us a call.
Great. And Jesse, we're closing tonight with
Oseh shalom. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, ויאמרו אמן.
Shabbat shalom, everybody. Stay warm, stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you soon.